So I've almost been doing this for a month now, and it really isn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. I've adjusted really well. I've pretty much got all of my routines down, so as promised in the last video, these videos are probably going to start to become very boring. Haven't really made any updates to the car this weekend so far, but with tomorrow being Memorial Day, I'm off at both my other jobs, so I'll be using the whole day to remove the seats up here, and then I'm going to deep clean the entire carpet. I rented a portable carpet cleaner from Home Depot just now, and after I clean it, I'm going to be attaching some plastic and then replacing the floor mats with all-weather ones. That way, you know, nothing from living in my car seeps into it and keeps it smelly and damp in here. Other than that, tomorrow I think I'm also going to knock out the back windshield cover. I think I figured out how I'm going to do it. I'm just going to measure it on the outside window and cut it. And then the way that I'm going to attach it, instead of using these telescopic, you know, curtain rods that I've been using for the other 4 windows, there's actually a gap above the windshield where the top upholstery meets the window. So I think I'm just going to rivet or sew in a piece of acrylic sheet that I can just slide up into that gap, which will just hold it in place. I think that's probably the easiest way to do it. I've also noticed that whenever I have these in my windows for an extended period of time, especially when the sun is out, they begin to slowly bend in the middle and slide from the top down the window and allow in some light and the potential for people seeing into my car while I'm sleeping. So I think I've found a solution for that. I think I'm just going to take these magnets and sew them in so that where the covers meet the top and the back of the window, where there's actually exposed metal, it'll just stick into the window, and then the curtain rods will be more to keep the bottom in place. Other than that, I pulled my guitar out of storage this weekend for the first time. Got to practice some of my songs, and I've started learning a lot of Cat Stevens and Ween now that my hands are healed enough to actually allow me to use them. Additionally, I think that I'm just going to be sticking to the canned diet on the weekdays when I'm working and I have no time for food. Obviously, it's part of the reason why I did it. But on the weekends, I'm just going to go ahead and bite the bullet and spend a little bit of money and try out some local restaurants and stuff while I'm here, and while I'm, you know, out and about different towns doing some traveling, going to bars and stuff, pubs. That'll also, once I get all of my food in my lockers at the beginning of the week, that'll completely open up all of my space that I have here behind the seat to store all of my stuff a little better. I've also added a bungee cable to the trunk area where my tow kit is, to keep that bin from shifting around whenever I'm driving. Every time I have to go back there to crawl into that hole and go to sleep, I have to readjust everything back there, and I just didn't want to do that anymore, so I added a bungee cable to keep that in a fixed position at all times. I also decided to pick up a strainer and another can opener, just so I can have one can opener for each job. Not all of the cans that I get have a pull tab. Strainers for the beans that I eat at my 30-minute lunch break on my 3rd shift job. I've just been kind of rinsing them in the can, but it still doesn't get a lot of that like bean slime out of the bottom. And I think I'm just gonna keep the strainer there in the break room. It has like a kitchen attached to it. Other than that, I spent the whole day today cleaning Carol's house. She's in the hospital again, and I just wanted to make sure that she could get home and, you know, not have to worry about, you know, cleaning anything or, you know, have additional stress added on to whatever she's going through due to the clutter. That's a fair reminder for everybody that just because you disagree with somebody doesn't mean you can't be kind to them. It's a lesson that I'm sure everyone could probably benefit from, myself included. I'm sure I'm not always the kindest person to people. I try to be. Maybe if you have her phone number, send her some kind words. I'm sure she probably needs them right now. Also got to see the cats, which is always nice. I desperately need a fucking haircut, but I'm sure my barber's not open on Sunday, and also tomorrow's Memorial Day, and I'm sure he's probably not open then too. I'm just never on this side of town anymore because I'm in Addison, but I don't really want to find another barber. This guy's really, really good. It's way too long. Maybe I'll just say fucking and grow it out again. Or maybe I'll just go bald. Just shave it clean, including my eyebrows. I'm also looking to take a class here to get my weapons license. What they call here is an FOIC card. So I can get my handgun back and, better protect myself while I'm living in my car in the event of, God knows what. The only problem is this is a required 16-hour class, so it basically takes an entire weekend. But now that I'm almost finished making additions to the car and I have everything sustainable, I kind of have more time to spend the whole weekend doing something like that. The gondolas here are pretty stupid, in my opinion. Derek keeps trying to get me to buy an FN-49 because it's a really cool gun and it's virtually one of the only things that you can own here. Because you can own a semi-automatic rifle, but it can't have a detachable magazine with more than a certain capacity. But I don't know where the fuck I would store it, and there's probably laws against me storing it somewhere that isn't a gun case, which obviously I don't have room for. Oh, there's a cop right here in front of me. Maybe I'll just ask him. Still waiting for my job to pay me out for those missing hours for clocking out wrong on my lunch break. And I'm also still waiting on my Kentucky return. It's around $800 as well. So that's a little frustrating, but I'm not really hurting for money right now. My expenses are virtually nothing and I'm working 2 full-time jobs. Also, I'll be cutting down my expenses even more because my new job, my third shift job, is going to be paying for my monthly gym membership. So that's a bonus. So yeah, next week I'll go ahead and edit in the footage from me cleaning the carpets and making the, the back windshield cover. This week it's just going to be short and sweet. Not a lot to update on. Happy birthday to my older brother, Zack. He's getting fucking old. And I'm right there behind him. I'll be 30 this year. All right, hopefully I'll have more updates for you guys next time. Maybe I'll actually go somewhere and do something on the weekend and get some pretty cool footage. Signing off.